Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing this March the 4th, or May the 4th, 2025, noontime cryptocurrency video. And we have a very volatile, very exciting, and turbulent times ahead in the cryptocurrency and financial markets, as there's going to be a lot of volatility taking place. And we've already seen quite a bit of volatility over the last 2.5 to 6 months. We've been up in the Bitcoin price from September of 2024 till the blow off top, 110% in about 5 months with the Donald Trump culminated blow off brief top rally. Then we've been from that peak to trough down 31.55%. In these altcoins, we've been up as much as 6 to 8. In the smaller capped coins, maybe 20x from their lows. And then some of those same coins are down 60 to 90% from those recent tops. So there's been a lot of volatility. If we look at the Bitcoin price, you can see we came up into this major resistance area because there was a lot of trading, a lot of support and resistance for the time span that there is right here, right in this area on the way up and way down, right? This is where the mid-ground was, and we marked that down on the way up as a logical spot now for a major resistance zone, right? It's definitely overshot and pumped more than we thought it would, but we did have a good call from the double bottom down here at 73,000. And remember back here when we made that call, when we were going at 93,000 all the way up to the 109,401.94 double mountain, double top, we told you we were coming down here. Nobody else was talking about that. And the way we diagnosed, sniffed out, and detected and gave you the first mover advantage, because we're here for I am here, and this channel was built for the retail investor and trader, you. And that's the power and the value of Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing. You can see we have this top one, top two, double top, neckline. You go from the top of the double top to the neckline to the point of a breakout on a targeted move. And look at that. It hits beautifully down at our targeted move. And nobody was talking about that. Nobody predicted that back in this whole area as the blow off top regionally and locally was coming to an end. And old Vincenzo diagnosed, sniffed that out, and detected that with the truth, trust, and information and education in a super simple and easy way for you, to retail trader, to technically trade this market. And we called that beautifully. And then we said when we were down here that we had a pump advisory, that we thought we could come up as high as the 100-day moving average, which would have been an 18% pump, to potentially up to 90,000, which would have been a 20.93% pump. But we've overshot that and came all the way up to 97,130. And now we're theorizing, as the volume continues to decline, eventually this is going to have a major retest, at least I believe, and it would quickly come down to this $85,000 level. And then that's going to be a really critical point now, because we've had a bullish cross now with the 50 now rising above, just slightly, but rising above the 100-day moving average. And on a retest now, look at how this lines up now. And this could say that maybe we're going to continue to be bullish after, and we're going to have to watch this closely. If you come down and retest the major support level at the 90,000, and say the next 2 to 3 days, say it came down there in a quick move, look at what you're going to be retesting also. A freshly crossed bullish cross from the 50 going over the 100, meeting right about that $90,000. And that would be your decisive moment. If you can hold that, you're confirming a bullish cross and you're confirming the 90,000, and then maybe you can breach to a new all-time high. Conversely, if you do this and you slip below it and then start using it as resistance, that would just be confirming a bearish trend that we thought we were on, and then just had a overshoot on off a technical trade bounce level. So that's what we're going to be watching over the course of this week, is how we interact with that resistance level we're at now, how we interact if we do come down to the 90,000 and retest a freshly bullish cross with the 50 on a major $90,000 support level, and what happens there. So this is an exciting time in the Bitcoin price. This is an exciting time across the cryptocurrency sphere, and that's a reason you need to join the channel, become members of Jabroni Killers. I made it the industry cheap, $3.99 a month, and best value, because I'm looking out for you, the retail trader. as you are the most important part of this channel with the information and education and trust and truth that you get from me dedicated to you to keep you on top of what's going on in this ever-changing market. We're still consolidating down in the XLM this weekend, and we were talking about that going into it. We wanted to hold in the short term on XLM. You wanted to hold this 50-day moving average at, let's get that into a different color. Let's make that the brightest green. And we wanted to hold the 50-day moving average in the daily time frame, and you can see right now we've slipped just below the 50-day moving average because we think that if we slip that, you're going to come down to this 25 cents, and that's your major area for the XLM price. Still don't want to buy, you get out of here, to stay short-term bullish right now, because if you break down below that, you're going to be confirming that 25.5 cents. We might as well mark that. You're going to be confirming that 25.5 cents as a major flip to resistance if you can't hold it right now as support down there. You see that? So this is a critical area. And remember, again, in this coin, old Vincenzo gave you the first mover advantage just after the blow off top back there at the 63.5 cent local top, that we were going short to medium term bearish. We told you we would have the bearish cross, which we did right there where the 50 in red got below the 200 in blue, and then the golden bearish cross where the 50 in red got below the long-term 200-day moving average in green right now, right? And then we had these underneath targets that we would hit the 26 cents. Then we had the 18.5, 19 cents in the green down there. And we were making these calls. Nobody was making these calls. We were industry first mover advantage, and that's the value. And we told you and laid out the groundwork on how the retail or how the institutions on the mainstream media and the fleece heisters and shysters and orchestrated infiltrated criminal gangsters on social media would come along as the price became apparent, but that's too late. You want to be a first mover. And we were laying out targets of a potential 70.69% correction to as deep as 77.09. And you can see we hit that first one, greater than a 75% correction from the high. And we were warning and we were telling you guys, you never buy the pump. If you didn't own any XLM or you wanted to accumulate more, you do not buy it up there. And we were warning against that because we said there would be better buying opportunities, right? And look at that. You can buy it still at current price from buying the blow off top up here at 63 cents. It's still down 57.83% cheaper. So you can buy double what you could have bought up there if you would have irrationally tried to buy in at the end of a pump. So that's what we're watching out for in this week's for the XLM. How does this interact if we come down and retest this 25 cents, which it looks like it's trying to do? Do we hold that and have a big ferocious pump off of that? Or do we trade along that for a few days and then the moving averages start trending down again, and then it forces the price down to the 18 cents again, right? So that's what we're going to be watching in the XLM. The XRP is the same thing. First mover advantage we gave you in early January when we gave you, early to mid-January when we gave you that head and shoulders topping out reversal pattern. Nobody else was talking about that. Again, the first mover advantage. We laid out how we would have a bearish cross, and we did. Then when the price came down to the 200-day moving average at the time down here at $1.93, we wicked below it, but told you we would likely get stabilized and should on the 200-day moving average. And then we were calling for a retest of the neckline because this was going to have a major coming to Jesus moment. Is this going to confirm it as major resistance and flip it for major support? Or is it going to scratch and claw and try to hold it as major support and continue to the upside and break the downtrend? Well, we had that over exuberant pump. We've getting rejected, and now we're below the 100-day and 50-day moving averages in the daily time frame. And again, like the Bitcoin and like the XLM, what we're going to be looking at now is, do we get rejected down to this 200-day or to the neckline, and how do we interact with that? Do we slip that and end up using it and getting back below the 200-day moving average, and then it confirms it as major resistance in a flip? This is a critical time across the sphere. This is a critical time in the Bitcoin, the XLM, the XRP, and a lot of these other coins, as the last 2 weeks of the pump are starting to go into consolidation mode, as is the AMP, where they're going to make a move. Are they done with the pump, or are they going to start collapsing back to the downside? You can see we're still trading, but now we're below in the daily time frame, the 50-day moving average, and this is very critical. If this breaks down, you'll see this thing drop straight back down like that very quickly. If this breaks to the upside, you would see it on the flip side pump all the way up into this area near the 200-day moving average very, very quickly with the AMP. And we're looking at a potential at some point, like a lot of these other altcoins have done, potentially at some point coming up to the 0.00860 in a big, quick, over exuberant pump, right? Like the channel, subscribe. We're off to a funeral. Peace and love. The Rock's eyebrow on a cloudy, gloomy, seasonably chilly and windy 53 degrees J from just north of downtown Detroit, inside the Vincenzo compound in the great state of Michigan. Peace and love. The Rock's eyebrow. J.